So some of you wanted directions on how to create a pinhole, so I'm just going to kind of go through it quickly so that you have a little guidance here. You should have a piece of metal in your envelope, in your blue envelope. If you don't, you can use a tin can and cut out a piece of, I should say, aluminum can. And then what you're going to do is you are going to put a pinhole in it. So very simply to do that, and you should only put one pinhole in ideally. You're just going to take that envelope that it's in, you're going to put a pin down and spin through your metal so that it's nice and round. It's going to create a little bit of a burr, and so you might need to sand that off. And you should have sanding paper again in that envelope that I shared with you. If not, you can use a nail file. And again, if you have to, use an aluminum can where you cut out a piece of aluminum can if you don't have this, or you've lost it, or you've tried several times to create a pinhole and not been successful. Make sure it is a nice round pinhole, and to do that, one of the things you could do is turn your flashlight on your device and just kind of hold it up there and see that it's a nice pinhole, a nice round opening, and again, nice and smooth. You have your can, so what you want to do is make sure that's all set to go. It's black on the inside. That's so that the light doesn't reflect around, and then it has a big opening that's drilled into it and hopefully sanded down for you. And so what you're going to do now is you're going to put your pinhole over that opening. It can go inside or outside. I'm going to put it on the inside. Do make sure that that pinhole aligns towards the center of that opening, so double check and make sure that's happening before you go ahead and use some of your tape that again is in your packet of goodies so that you can tape it down. And again, this is going to go out side facing south for at least a week. The first time really just to see if it works. The second time, I would suggest if it does work, leave it out there for a longer period of time. For instance, it can stay out there. Ideally, some solaragraphers leave it outside for 6 months. Once you do get this tape down, before I do anything else, I'm going to make sure, using my flashlight again, that hole, see how it went off center? I need to reposition it. So I'm going to, before I finish this up, correct that so that my pinhole is in the middle of this drilled opening in this container. And again, you don't have to use this container. If you don't have this container, you can use an aluminum can that you cut the top off and seal shut once you get your pinhole on the side. So there we go. So now it's in the middle. I can see it's in the middle. We're all good. Last step, take that marker that's in your bag, smaller than this one, but it'll work, and shade that in so the light doesn't pop around. So a camera, really very simply, is something that's light tight and that has a hole in it. Voila! And again, one last look. Yep, it's still there. Looks good. And then you're going to take a little bit of your tape. You're going to donut it up. You're going to put it on the opposite wall of the pinhole. This is where you're going to put your photo paper, yellow, shiny side up. Put the lid on. Seal it up tight. And again, I would suggest you actually tape it closed and face it in something that won't move, or tie it down or tape it down or whatever you need to do to secure it. Put it outside. So again, it's going to roll, so you might have to put it in another container, or make sure you tape it up to something or tie it onto something. And you're going to leave it there for at least a week to see. And then when you take the camera in after a week and you check your image, and photograph your image, it should look something like this. And so that dark spot is the sky. It's the sun's movement across the sky. The light stuff is actually the area that is the silhouette of kind of the land. And then what you're going to do is need to photograph that. And when you photograph it, a couple things that you need to do is you need to make sure that you don't use flash. And ideally, you also don't, there we go. Ideally also, you don't, oh, I can't take the photo, I'm out. You photograph it at an angle. So no flash and kind of at an angle, and hold your arms in at your side and make sure it's really steady, no shadows across it. If you have a scanner, it's even better to scan these in. And so that's how you make your pinhole camera. Take your solar picture.